We don't have that long to do this.
We have like 10 minutes.
Okay.
And all we have to do is...
The conflicts that led into the war started to arise when Serbian Gavrilo Princip assassinated Franz Ferdinand in 1914. This was the trigger for the two countries of Austria-Hungary and Serbia that weren't already getting along to go to war. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. Russia, who had formed a secret alliance with Serbia, got involved, and other countries that had formed alliances started to get involved. By August 4, 1914, Germany had declared war on Russia, France, and Great Britain. Sides were split into the alliances and the Central Powers, and soon most countries in Europe and some in Asia were involved in the Great War.
The Great War began because of the complex system of alliances. Relationships between countries can be a good thing, but it can also lead to mass destruction and war on a grand scale. World War I started with only two countries involved, fighting against one another. But when alliances were made on either side, the war that started small evolved into a war that would involve most of the world. The assassination of Franz Ferdinand also spiraled into the just war doctrine. Austria-Hungary went to war against Serbia out of revenge from the murder of the heir to their throne. Now, it's stated in the just war doctrine that was created after World War I that countries must have just cause to go to war, and war can't be declared out of hate or revenge. The U.S. was able to establish guidelines for war because of World War I.
During the Great War, America supplied both the Allies and the Central Powers with weapons. The economy boomed in America. With all the weapons being sent out to Europe, workers were being paid more and jobs were going well. After the war ended, soldiers came back home to look for jobs. The companies now had no need for as many workers because no weapons were needed in Europe. Workers were being laid off as ex-soldiers came back. The war did help America's economy boom, but the nation should not have relied on the war to keep it afloat.
During World War I, countries were fighting to expand their territory into the Ottoman Empire. Both the Central and Alliance powers wanted control over the territory. The unsuccessful fight for land is one of the many mistakes countries made that the United States has learned from. Also, that the assassination of major political leaders will have consequences. This lesson should have been learned from when a Serbian group assassinated the heir to the throne of Austria-Hungary and the Duchess. A point about fighting your own battles was made when Germany asked Mexico to declare war on the United States. When the U.S. found out that Germany had asked Mexico to instigate, the U.S. joined the war on the alliance side. Woodrow Wilson said that this was the war to end all wars, but the U.S. now knows that that was not the case, and the Treaty of Versailles ended up causing World War II.
The armistice was signed on November 11, 1918, by the German and Allied representatives. The war was a horrid time. 16 million soldiers died throughout the 4 years. The United States should learn from the Great War that alliances can lead to conflict. It should also be noted that a nation's economy should not be supported by war, and that fighting for land will lead to larger consequences. The Great War was a time of sorrow, but humans did not learn their lesson, causing them to break into another world war 20 years later.